And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Anytime you're talking about fundamentals in a market and direction, fundamentals take a little bit of time to play out.
We got crude oil today, kind of trading yesterday's value area really nicely, low to high.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good afternoon, friends and traders. Welcome to the Market Recap. I am Dan Hodgman. It is Tuesday, October 19th. I hope you guys all had a wonderful day. Today is the 34th anniversary of Black Monday, back in the 1987 crash that Monday. We've all heard about it. We've all heard the stories about it. Markets did not repeat history here today. Instead of selling off, they continued yesterday's rally. More of a grind here today for both of these markets when you look at the Nasdaq and the S&P. Really a strong grind to the upside. Crude oil, really nice setups here today. Good two-way trade, low to high, back to center. Checks yesterday's lows, rallies to yesterday's highs, resolving here end of the day down, or just up just slightly, 82.26 trading right now. Gold opens up near overnight highs, rotates lower, makes an attempt to get to settlement price, really fails to make it all the way down, but a good opportunity there. Euro opens up on the high. We saw the rally in the overnight session, and then London kind of opened up, and we started to see it start to break out to the downside. We talked about trends and ranges and breakouts here today. Euro kind of set that up nicely. We were looking at a low side in that market, and we were looking at a nice channel to the upside on a short time frame. Market broke out to the downside and kind of continued that trend now lower. Treasuries open up this morning. We saw the break last night, kind of started, opened up right around settlement price, continued lower, checking yesterday's lows. So some good opportunities across the board. I do apologize. I just had a sneezing fit in that little 40-second countdown from when I hit play. So now all of a sudden, I got allergies and congestion. So I do apologize if I'm sniffling here. Daniel, good to see you. Ricardo, good afternoon. Wouldn't it just hit some sort of breaker or something like that now? Yeah, absolutely. You think about it. You go back to 87. Good question. What was the sell-off? So you go back to 87, 508 points or 22.6%. So a little bit different. We saw $1,000 swings back in 2020 pretty regularly in these markets with COVID happening, and we never really got near that 20% and by any means. But we had multiple circuit breakers hit. Right, you have the overnights, then you've got regular trading hour session circuits. We saw it last year a few times, continuing lower. So for sure, definitely could hit some sort of breakers now. Thankfully, those are in place to help keep us protected and be safe. Zorain, good to see you, and Vince, good to see you as well. All right, so no major news here today. I think the big stuff is Bitcoin first ever ETF came out today. Rises 4% in its debut on the New York Stock Exchange. This Bitcoin is tracking the CME Bitcoin future and speculating on that future price rather than the crypto itself. So if you are getting into the ETF, it is not strictly based off of the Bitcoin, that concept itself. Rather, it will be focused on the price of the future contract on the CME. I know there are other ones out there. CBOE does have a Bitcoin future as well, but this one will be taking place and watching the CME futures, Bitcoin futures. So like what we continue to track each and every day and talk about. PK, good to see you as well. All right, let's see here. We did run through our markets. We're going to take a look at those here in just a second. I really hope you guys take some time though today to, or this week, or when you have a chance. Justin, good to see you as well. I hope you got a chance to take a look at today's Coach's Playbook. It's actually a really exciting topic, recommended by Norman. You guys may have seen his name pop up regularly in all of our shows here. Norman came up with that, asked us to kind of touch on that subject, so I do appreciate that. And anyone out there, if you ever have a subject that you'd like for us to talk about on Coach's Playbook, or things that you want to talk about on the forecast, recap, Q&As, whatever we have, please don't hesitate to let us know. Send us a message, comment in here, email support@topstep.com. They will get that over to us. So if you do have things, topics that you want us to talk about and cover, please let us know. That's what we're here for. And Jordan, good to see you as well. So today, Coach's Playbook, we talked about ranges. We talked about breakouts. We all have a different idea or a little bit differing of an opinion. I like to create every market I'm trading kind of as a range. You guys have seen me do that where we draw channels. We take a look at that channel. We try and fade those extremes. If we're trending higher, we're looking for those pullbacks. We're going to see that today in the S&Ps and in the Nasdaq market where we had channels. Market checked lows. We were able to buy those lows, rallies up, checks highs. You could sell those highs if you want, or you could hold on to those longs that you're in and withstand the pullback. Those pullbacks are your chances to kind of continue to leverage into your trade. So really a great topic of conversation. Really enjoyed sitting down with the guys on that one. Tara Sinha, good to see you as well. I do apologize if I butcher names. My eyes aren't great. We're looking on a small screen here. All right, let's take a look at our charts here, see what we got going on. And like we said, I really like today's crude oil market. But Vince, I see your question here. Let's touch on that really quick, and we'll see if we can bring up some chances here. Vince, what happens when range trades and breakouts don't work? Well, there's two general market states, right? Range bound and trending. When your market is in a range, you are trading that range. When that range fails, it turns into a breakout, market state changes. So you're really going to have one or the other. Every so often we can get caught and chop where it's really not defining a nice range for us, or it keeps showing false breakouts. We're trying to trade those false breakouts. I think it's just like anything. When the day isn't working for yourself and you're having, loser after loser after loser, just know to call it quits and say, hey, you know what? Today is not setting up ideally for my system and the way I look at the markets. Maybe I'm seeing something wrong here. But in theory, we can look at each and every one of these markets here today. You've got the breakout to the downside in the euro. You've got gold rotating and staying inside range. You've got crude oil range. You've got S&Ps and Nasdaq trending higher, but I still look at that personally like a range. I just take my range from this and I turn it sideways, right? That's how I personally look at it. We're trending higher. I'm not looking for the market to break out. I'm not buying the highs in an uptrend market. Rather, I'm waiting for those pullbacks to a low side of a channel or low side of my range to buy those low sides. So we'll take a look at that here. I think S&Ps and Nasdaq really set that up really nicely today. So we'll take a look at that. And Harry, good to see you as well. All right, here we go. Let's start with our crude oil market. As we know, crude did roll in December, so if you haven't rolled to December, please make sure you're trading where the volume is. That happened yesterday and now today. Market opens up this morning. We open up in the dead center of yesterday's value, right? What do we look for in this market? Well, I'm looking to see if this market rotates lower, down towards point of control. We got point of control down here at 81.70. What is 1 cent below point of control at 81.69? Settlement price. Great two quick targets to look at as market opens up. Market moves lower. Here's where we get to start to look for a chance. Yesterday's value low down here at 81.22. 81.22. We have a low at 81.13. So we've got 13 cents of heat taken in this. When we are looking at these markets, we want to define low sides of channels. Well, 1 swing low, 2 swing lows, 3 swing low, 4 swing lows, all floating between that, let's call it 81.13 up to 81.28. This is where we get to start to look, or low side of a range. This is where you start to look for a chance. Now, ignoring what today's markets did. So if we hide out today, we're opening up here, and let's say we start to look for a long opportunity down below. Let's ignore what happens throughout the day. Where do we look above? Well, we have overnight swing high. We have value high. This is what I'm starting to see right here. We saw this right here at 82.40 become a pivotal point Sunday night into yesterday. Yesterday held during regular trading hour, finally gave up. That's when the acceptance lower really took off. We came back to that bottom. So I'm looking at 81.40. Gosh, I really like that. What else do I have in there? I got value high from yesterday, 82.17. Okay, I'm getting a couple of points to keep an eye on up above. If I'm going to take the long down below, I would like to see it rotate value high. From value high, I have overnight swing high. This is really what's got my attention up here, 82.70. So if I can move through value high right here at 82, let's just call it 82.20. We rotate higher to 82.40. I'm starting to get excited. This is where I'm looking for my chances. We got a nice market opportunity here for a directional move. So we take the long down below. We get a great chance. Market starts to roll. We start to rotate higher. We get a small little pullback. This is where you have to be patient, right? The difference between a range trade and a breakout trade, if I'm taking the short here and looking for it to break out, maybe come checked on check point of control down here at 80.45, I'm looking for that move to happen rather quickly. I'm not going to sit in this and wait for it to tell me, oh no, breakout's not happening. I want this breakout to happen rather quickly. I want this market to accelerate lower. I want it to check this point and move through rather quickly. We see acceptance back inside value. As soon as we start to see that acceptance back inside value, maybe we're not taking the trade initially, but all of a sudden we see the pullback a little bit later at 9 o'clock this morning. Market pulls back to 81.40. We still have some great targets up above to lock in possibly 80 cents in the trade. We get our pullback, market rallies higher. This to me is very defined range utilizing yesterday's regular trading hour ranges. I'm liking overnights, value lows, value highs, and prior swing highs. Now notice, what do we have? Today matches yesterday's swing high, 82.99. For all intents and purposes, we're going to call that $83 a barrel. 83 is continuously being resistant. Every time the market has gotten up there, it has rejected. So as market approaches, great opportunity to sit here and go, all right, I'm not looking for breakout, right? I'm looking at range. We're still within range. I got a cheap trade here to take that short chance, rotating back inside, and boom, there you go. You've got another 75 cent trade there. All right, next. So now we got nice inside range-bound trades. Now let's go ahead and look at S&P 500. Now we have a trending market. So we have an inside day, and now we have a trending market. Let's expand things here a little bit. Better visuals. Here we go. All right. So market has been trending higher. We got a nice pop yesterday off the open. We are maintaining nice trend to the upside. So now let's just get some visual here so we can get an idea of what it's done in that throughout the day. All right. So as market opened up, just for visuals here, just so we can kind of get an idea. Once we start to look and see where this market's trading, we get a better idea. Oh, by the way, what do we have here? Our 20-period EMA, every time that market pulled down to it, we caught a good opportunity using moving averages to get an idea. Instead of looking at that moving average on these pullbacks and saying, oh, market's giving up and rotating lower. No, that's not the case. This is just an area of weakness in an uptrend market. So market opens up this morning. We make the attempt to push lower. Rejection was rather quick. I can tell you sitting here watching this little section right here. Hold on, I don't have my cursor visible. Let's adjust that. All right, so this little bit of move here from, let's just say, 44.90 down to 44.87. So a three-handle little section. That happened within the first 6 minutes of trading here today. Traded right back above it and never really continued back lower. Okay, that's telling us something. We failed to continue the push lower. We're starting to see market press higher. We're on low side here of a channel. So if we really kind of try and define ourselves a channel for today, we can speculate. Again, trend lines, they're relatively crude. They're never going to be perfect, but they're a visual representation of where to start to look for opportunity, right? And that's what we want to be looking for. We want to have ideas of visual opportunity, and we can look at them on the high side too. Let's just take a look at strictly what happened in the overnight session. We'll start with a little bit of yesterday where market rallied higher. All right, so we've got throughout today, overnight session, we look every time the market starts to approach, it breaks down. Every little bit of rally, it breaks down just a little bit. All right, so market's on the low side here. Great opportunity. Can we get this market to rotate back to the high side of this range? We can simply rotate this to be side to side if you struggle with direction. right? It's the same principle as we look at, or same concept as we just looked at in the crude oil. We want to see the market come to low side. We want to look for opportunities on the low side, mitigate our risk, keep things managed, and see if we can get it to rotate back to the high side. Market does that really nicely, comes back one more time. Pretty weak here towards the end of the day, and now we're resolving continuously higher. Now, great opportunities here. The same thing's going to apply when we look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq here today, same exact thing. Let's kind of get a better visual here. Whoops, wrong way. There we go. All right, so Nasdaq opens up this morning. And here's what I think is so interesting about Nasdaq, right? We make the push lower. We move through our moving averages, 20 period EMA, 20 period SMA, just so you can kind of see. 20 period, simple moving average. And let's see. Of course, I'm clicking green and it's showing red. Let's see if we can find another spot here. There you go, 20 period EMA. So those are my two things that I like to pay attention to relatively closely throughout my trading day. Regular trading, day trading, to me, those are two moving averages I love to pay attention to. Market comes down, tries to trade below it, tries to get to yesterday's value, cannot get there. If it's not getting to value relatively quickly like that on a move like that, I'm pretty good accepting it's not going to get back to value. I'm going to look for direction to the upside. We made a couple more attempts. We tried. That wasn't the case. And we're on a low side, and this trend line kind of goes way back for me. I just extended it, and we are trading again right on low side of that trend. We can extend it more if we want to see a high side, right? We can draw a little visual. That's the wrong thing. Remove that. And of course, my drawing tools just disappeared on me. Gotta love it. All right, so we do have high-sided channel here as well. So we're looking for rotation to the low side, right? We want to fade extreme, so we find the rotation to the low side, rally it up. Oh, hey, how about that? We start to stall out. We get the rotation lower. Let's start to look to get out of the long. We got another opportunity to buy it back as it gets towards the low side of the channel, and we get another pop one more time. So really, we got to see it here in these first three markets, really defined opportunities with two different styles of market states. Next, let's look at gold. Oh, how about that? Gold inside. Opens up this morning. Tries multiple times to get above and accept above overnight high. It doesn't. We've got rejection continuously right here at that 80, let's just call it 83, 1783, right? Market trades above it a few $100, back down below. Tries again. What about that? We double top. Great chance. Maybe we're going to get an opportunity if this market rejects one more time. Once we start to see it reject and rotating back inside, now's our chance to start to look to see if we can rotate back inside of last night's trade and back towards, how about that point of control from yesterday? We checked that unchecked point of control from yesterday. We have now accepted that. We are seeing that market accept. Maybe tonight we accept those buyers up and we get that back to that trend to the upside. All right, next let's get the euro. Euro a little bit different here today. Opens up. We got a nice trend in the overnight session. Now here's the difference, right? We were talking about breakouts. So we talked about that breakout. Overnight market. Again, crudely drawn. We're just trying to create a visual. Market's trending higher in the overnight session. Right before open, we start trading below. Open shows acceptance. Now it's showing acceptance below. Okay. We have given up on that overnight uptrend. Now let's look for this market to possibly rotate back inside. We are now making the downtrend. So when we start to see this market pop, we get a little bit of strength. This is not, we're going back to trend. This is just, hey, this is our pullback or a little bit of a strength and our down move. Recognize that. We accept that. We wait for this market to really start to present an opportunity for a short to continue rotation back inside. Now, this market did work down nicely, did not make it to point of control, did not make it to settlement price, but definitely a good opportunity here. Whole different style market. It broke out from that trend to the downside and gave us a chance on this strength, right? Strength doesn't mean, it's returning back to an uptrend. Strength says, hey, here's an opportunity. We're getting a little bit of relief in our down move. Let's see if we can take some shorts and get in on trend. Next, let's look at the 10-year the 10-year note. Market opens up this morning. Initial move was, hey, let's see if we can get outside of value, check overnight highs. Boop, nope, not happening. Market rejected. Rejects. As soon as we recognize rejection, now our job is to find that opportunity for short to rotate back inside. And what are we looking for? Point of control. That's, to me, what I'm keeping an eye on. Market rotates to point of control down here at 130. 130.21, point of control. Market stalls at point of control. Now, I got a lot of chances here. I'm getting out of that trade. I'm locking that in. I'm not looking for it to break to the low side some more. I'm not looking for it to continue to extend. If I'm sitting here and I'm watching failed attempt after failed attempt after failed attempt over, let's see, from 8 until 9:30, so I got almost 2 hours of a failed attempt to trade lower. All right, I'm out. I'm locking in those profits, and maybe if this market does break to the downside, I got a chance. Maybe I'll look for another rotation back inside. Not the case. That was kind of our move here today on that market. All right, everybody, those are our markets here today. I see some questions. George, Bitcoin, $64,000. What a number, huh? $64,525 there. Michael, ES, closer to all-time highs. Do you think Nasdaq will catch up? I don't know. It's earnings season. It's earnings season. Nasdaq was the leader for quite some time. As we saw this summer, as we kind of started seeing things kind of get back to a little bit of normalcy, people getting in offices, we started seeing Nasdaq kind of fall back a little bit. It struggled to get back as the leader. Nasdaq was the big one yesterday. Earnings season can be an interesting one. We do have some major numbers coming out that could have a good effect on these. So I guess we'll see. Deg, good to see you as well. All right, so what else we got going on here? Let's take a look at some of our stocks that we love to pay attention to. Airbnb. We had a nice move yesterday. We got the sell-off today, down about 1%, down at $170.74. GameStop, pretty much flatlined here today. We caught a pop off the open, but from there, rotated right back to almost unchanged on the day, up 86 cents at $86.79 a share. AMC, we saw the big move yesterday. Well, it gave it back today, $40.80. Tesla's got earnings tomorrow, so everyone's waiting. It's been a strong stock. They did dominate some numbers that they've already told us about. Is that factored in? Are good numbers factored in already for Tesla? We've seen the market move up $100. We were trading $700, $680 a month and a half ago, and now we're trading well above $800. So we'll see what happens there. Robinhood gets a pop here today, $41.70. And lastly, our VIX. No surprise here, 1563, down 4.17% today. No surprise. We were up over 16 yesterday, gave up some today. Not surprised about that. As markets grind higher, look for VIX to continue to dip. So that's what we got going on there. No major news. I think the Bitcoin, that's a big one. That's exciting to me. And a Bitcoin ETF. I do enjoy my ETFs. So if you're into them, if you're into Bitcoin and you're into ETFs, might be a fun one to check out. All right, so tomorrow, we mentioned earnings. Tomorrow we got Tesla. We got Verizon. We got Abbott Labs, IBM, Discover. Nasdaq will have earnings tomorrow as well. So we got a number of earnings coming out tomorrow. We'll want to keep an eye on those. That's going to be the main releases tomorrow. We do have at 9:30 a.m. Central Time EIA Petroleum Status Report and Beige Book at 1 p.m. Central Time. All right, so that's what we got there. Lastly, we'll get on this date in history and we'll get on out of here. Like we mentioned at the beginning, today, 1987, 34 years ago, largest ever one-day crash was the Black Monday. And did I have one more? Yes, I did. I had one more. On this day, 1985, if you're old enough, you remember these. The sweet joys of walking through the aisles and the popcorn. In 1985, the first ever Blockbuster, opened up. gosh, good times. I think there's still one left in Bend, Oregon, if I'm not mistaken. There is a pretty interesting documentary on it. It's kind of comical. Really enjoyed watching it. And so, first ever Blockbuster. Gosh, those little cards. I probably still have, I shouldn't say me, it would be my dad, probably still owes a late fee for a lot of the VHSs we held as kids, way too long or lost and never returned. All right, so guys, that's what I got for us here today. John will be back tomorrow morning, 7:45 a.m. Central Time with the market forecast. So make sure you guys get in there, join them, give them a good heckle. If you didn't catch today's Coach's Playbook, give it a shot. Really an interesting topic to me. I really enjoy the idea of ranges versus breakouts, trending markets, all of that stuff. To me, that's really something I enjoy. So go check those out and give us your thoughts. And if you do ever have a topic that you want to hear us talk about, please, please, please send us an email, support@topstep.com. Comment on our videos. We're always watching that stuff. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign on out of here. I hope you guys all have a spectacular rest of your day. Stay safe, trade smart, and trade well. Look